What's going on? Welcome to Pinstripes After Dark. It's me, Uncle Tess, and my co-host Sunil. How is everybody doing? Well, one of the things that came up today was I want to talk about this briefly. Right,
Hmm.
Zach Britton retired, and when he retired, he had a few things that he had to say. All right, and it's we all knew what was the situation. Right, Pete put a video out on it on MYY Underground. Go check that out. But he was saying that the Yankees are no longer feared. And I think that this ties into a lot of what we've been trying to talk about this offseason so far was the Yankees need to get that boldness back. They got to find their balls again. You know, when I saw the quotes from Zach Britton, one, I wasn't surprised. Two, we already knew it.
Hmm.
The most important, and then three, what we already know also, nothing's going to be done about it. The Yankee brass is just going to stay status quo until they make a big splash this offseason. We're not expecting, we're hoping for a big offseason. We're not expecting a big offseason. So, Neil, do you agree with that?
I cannot say I disagree. That's for sure. I mean, he basically spit out fire on top of facts. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
since 2009, Cashman has been dumpster diving majority of the time, with the exception of the occasional acquisition of the player we want, being it a pitcher, star outfielder, um, even those which are available did not necessarily pull up to the quality that they basically produced to on their previous teams. And a lot of that has to do with the coaching mindset as well as the implementation of analytics that goes
Yep.
across with the Yankee front office and the brass. I believe, if I heard right, Fishman is probably out the door, and hopefully we have a little bit better implementation of analytics. And what's more important is how Cole and Judge, both of whom have Cashman, not Cashman, I should say Hal's ears, basically. Hal's got their ears, and he's basically paying full attention to everything they say, more so than even Cashman. And Cashman is just a jealous bystander at this point, nothing more than that. When he's designated to be the GM, what does that tell you?
Yep. No, it says that they're at such a comfort level. It's at this point, Hal
Hmm.
is not that he's not willing to make a change. I think
Hmm.
he's afraid to make a change. He's afraid that he'll bring in a guy that is worse. It's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. And
Hmm.
I think that really applies here. I really think
Hmm.
that. I think they're at that place with that. It's like that. You're that marriage you're stuck in.
Hmm.
You know it's not going anywhere. You know that there's no fixing all the issues, but you stay anyway because you're it's that comfort level, where that there's no fixing the problem, so you just write it out because, well, where else am I going to go?
Yeah, it's
you
kind of
know
like
yeah,
us putting up with Brad Jewis. I mean, he's that bad ball breaking marriage we don't want.
no, Brad is my favorite hater. He
Uh-huh.
really is.
Hey, Brad, I got news for you. Jimmy was inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. So, hey, guess what? Maybe the curse breaks. All right, so don't be go off on the choking stuff just yet.
Yep.
And
But
maybe simultaneously, we may be having an off season of off seasons with the Yankees. So, you know,
Yep. And NFE puts it perfectly. Hit those hearts, buddy. All right.
hmm
Hit those hearts. Let's get this. It's something that YouTube added for those that don't know. It
hmm
does help the algorithm, as well as the likes, the subscribes, the shares. It all helps us out. So if you can, hit the hearts in the bottom of the screen. Now, we actually have someone that I really enjoy talking baseball with that's in the chat with us today.
hmm
Chris Northrup from the Upper Deck podcast on the Pinstripe Chronicles.
hmm
And she says Yamamoto goes live at 8 a.m. You should be a Yankee by 8:01. I
Chris,
agree.
I'm gonna one up you, Chris. I'm gonna say he should be a Yankee by 1 second after 8 o'clock. Not even 1 minute. I'm gonna go a full second.
Yeah, it's look. We went over, for those that don't know, right? NFE put a link in the chat early this morning the show with me and the guys about all the rules with um the posting and how all the ins and outs of it. For those that don't know, I'll give you the quick recap. He has 45 days to sign. Otherwise, he goes back to the team. He stays in Japan and he has to wait until the next offseason to be posted again. As far as the percentages, whatever the contract is, it's a 20% of the total contract is what um, a team will have to pay as far as the posting fee. Now,
hmm
some people were confused. I know I was confused. I thought you had to post to get the interview, almost like a down payment. But
Yeah.
that is it's not the case. If you don't win the negotiation, you don't pay up.
hmm
So every team should be in on them.
hmm
I mentioned three teams that I think are going to be in the forefront. I said the Yankees, the Mets, and the Cubs were my three. The Diamondbacks we discussed as an option. Um, Somebody has said the Dodgers, but I think the Dodgers are really going to go hard on Otani. I think the West Coast teams are going to focus on him. So I think the Dodgers are going to be a factor.
Tats, don't be
And they're going
don't
to
be
put all their eggs in that basket.
don't be surprised if Texas goes hard in too, because they've been spending like anything lately.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Texas has a comfort level with with
Well,
their staff as is. I think they're going to try to, you know,
I'm gonna give you two
to
reasons. I'm gonna give you
okay.
two reasons. DeGrom is missing the year because of Tommy John already. We know that.
That's I thought he was coming back next season. That's a factor. Yes.
I don't know what their reliance on Mad Max would be. That's two. Max Scherzer is old in the tooth. He's been there. He's definitely playoff proven. I'm not saying he's not. This is not about
Mhm.
being playoff proven. It's just about age and reliability, and we've seen him falter a little bit. So the question remains: does Texas have that, comfort factor retaining him? Now, I think as part of what he signed with the Mets, he still has one more year left, does he not?
Oh, DeGrom or Scherzer?
No,
No, Scherzer
sure.
still has one more year.
Yeah, okay. So then
Scherzer
that
has
leaves,
one more.
so that leaves point 2A then. Evaldi signed for what, 1 or 2 years? Or was he a trade?
He was a trade.
So I'm
He
thinking
might
he's
have.
trying.
He's not a free agent. I
hmm
know that.
hmm So if they
Although,
let's say if they lose Montgomery because he wants to reunite in the Bronx, that's one loss right there.
okay, not
Then
likely that he'll go to the Bronx, but he could. They could lose him to another team.
okay, yeah. I mean, basically in free agency, regardless of which team he goes to, that's one down. Um, Wait a second. I thought he had 2 year. He signed a 3 year deal when he came to the Mets, and he pitched two of those with the Mets, and this was the third year. So how does he have 1 year
Is
left?
there a
That's
player option in there? I don't know the ins and outs of Scherzer's contract.
okay. Yeah,
Um,
that's a little bit of a research. Monty is a Ranger now, Chris. I agree, but he's going to be a
yep.
free agent. He's basically is a free agent right now. Texas hasn't picked him up just yet, so and he's also gone out publicly to say he wouldn't mind a reunion. So we're hoping for that. And besides, as I've said on all the Pinstripe shows and all the you know the content creator shows that I've attended, Monty's big horse, silent whisperer, has been none other than our chief bulldog, Andy Pettit, from back in the 90s and 2000s teams. If Andy Pettit has your ears as the Yankee front office, that has to be some motivation behind that to basically go out and get him. And if I'm judging Cole, I would say heck yeah to that. He's basically what 30 or 31 right now, Monty.
I think Monty can actually become that. I mean, I'm not comparing the numbers, but the
Hmm.
situation. If Monty comes back,
Yes,
he's going to have that Pettit, that Pettit welcome where he's going to be treated like he never left.
exactly,
You know what I'm saying? So,
exactly.
and I'm a big fan of Montgomery. I really am. I think that he really proved he set out to prove everybody in New York or the Yankees front office for that matter
Hmm.
wrong on a pitcher. And he went, hold my cowboy hat, watch
Hmm.
this. And
Exactly.
he showed us all up. There were a lot of detractors that
Yeah.
were they were excited to see him go because of the return of Bader and the boot.
Hmm.
Which to me still just I can't wrap my head around it. It's in the past. It happened. We don't get past Cleveland without Bader. That's just the facts of it.
So
Before we continue this discussion, we are going to bring in our special guest for the night, and we got Chris the Flash coming to hang out with us. So, Chris, we were just talking about the outlook of Monty's return to the Bronx and what that could look like from the fan point of view. I think he would come back almost like when Petty came back, where he'll be welcomed with open arms, like
yeah.
he never left. I think he
Yeah,
has that. I think he has that relationship with the fans.
Hmm.
How do you feel about that? Or are you interested in him returning at all, or is it you see him going somewhere else?
well, I wouldn't mind him coming back. I mean, he's a lefty. We need a lefty.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
but
that's what I've been saying.
but it's like I wouldn't blame him if he don't come back. I mean, especially that Cashman
Yeah.
said he couldn't make the postseason roster to pitch games for us. I mean, I wouldn't blame him if he stayed in Texas. I mean, he won a chip with them, so I wouldn't blame him for running it back with them.
Well, don't forget, Monty. It's not Monty. I mean, Cashman's. Sense of respect amongst the organization. From the players up. I want to say it's diminished a little bit over the years. And with that being said, I think whatever he's got to say, the value's got to be taken with some grains of salt. So I mean, if basically Hal is listening to Cole and Judge, and if Judge gives his blessing on that, you damn straight know Hal's going to be, horses in to try to get Monty, and he's going to basically maybe try to even overpay. If Monty is asking hypothetically, let's say some 25 a year, I'm just making numbers up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure Hal is going to go and up the ante to 27, 20, possibly even 30. I'm just giving you a hypothetical scenario based on what I feel his AAV could be in free agency for his next deal.
I mean, the World Series, his performance in the postseason and the World Series is going to alter that money that Monty gets.
Oh, easily. It's
His
already gone up.
price tag went up.
It's
Are the
already gone
Yankees
up.
willing? But are the Yankees willing to put that money out? Are they willing to spend that money on a guy that was already in their organization? It wasn't the best of terms that he left on because of all the things that were said about him from the front office. The fans were really upset. The players were upset that he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody saw it coming. Fans were divided on the trade. Some liked it, some didn't. Are the Yankees willing? Are they going to be willing to put the money up to bring Monty back? That's the part of it I don't see them doing. I think a team that's going to put that money up without even thinking about it is going to be the Baltimore Orioles, if it's not Texas. Chris, what
Can
do
I
you
say
think?
this too? I want
Yeah.
to say this too. You know why we got peed off about that trade is because we didn't get Castile. I guarantee if we would have got Castile, that Monty trade wouldn't have been so bad. But because we got
Correct.
monetized,
Mm-hmm. Chris, correction on that one. I'm going to correct your statement there a little bit, if you don't mind. So basically,
okay.
if I remember this correctly, this was in 2022. We were on the verge of either getting Pablo. Who's that Florida pitcher that
Pablo
went to
Lopez.
No, you're right.
Minnesota?
Pablo
Yeah,
Lopez.
yeah, Pablo Lopez. It was either him or Rodon we were chasing in the trade deadline in 22. It wasn't Montas. So, or it wasn't even Castillo, basically, at that point. I mean, Castillo was a separate thing, and basically with Castillo, the price was driven up to where they wanted Peraza, Volpe, and Dominguez, and a bunch of other prospects Yankees were not willing to part with. So that basically they had to pivot from just on the basis of the asking price. And because of that pivot, they went to Montas, albeit a hurt Montas, an injured Montas. Now, when it comes to getting uh, Monty traded, they were basically emptying out a slot to basically get Pablo Lopez in there. And apparently, Kim Mang and the Florida front office basically pivoted backwards. And,
Mhm.
that's when that fell through. And that's when this club took a big shit in the pants.
See, I don't think it was so much Kim Ang. I think it was more the Marlins owners, the people above her. I think overrode that deal. That was a done deal.
Yeah.
Kim Ang wouldn't release that if it wasn't ready to go. She's very calculated.
Yep.
She's very close. She learned under Cashman, very close to the vest, but more professional about it. You
Mm-hmm.
know, uh, I think her trade got overrode,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, "No, we're not doing that. You got to find it. You can't."
Mm-hmm.
Chris, do you think
Well,
that was knowing what we know about Kim Ang,
mm-hmm.
is that accurate, or you think Kim Ang had second thoughts?
No, I believe
He's frozen.
Well, it's really it becomes a very tricky predicament because it's easy to backpedal, and go backwards and say we should have done this, we should have done that. We can go all the way back through Cashman's tenure,
Carlos,
and
explain yourself on this comment, please.
um,
Who the hell are you
jump
even
between us.
talking about? Who the hell is Joel, Pantoliano? I don't even know who he's even
yeah,
referring to.
Cashman's hacking Chris. And Carlos, I saw your comment before about cutting your hair. Do not cut that hair. If you've never, I've met Carlos. Carlos has beautiful hair, so you leave that hair alone. I'm jealous of it. But
And Sunil, I want to say this too. I was thinking about too many trades. I think the problem is we don't go after the big picture that we need to get, and
Right.
that's back-to-back years that we didn't do it. And it's like you gotta Cashman. I understand you want to win every trade. Guess
Mm-hmm.
what? That's over with.
Mm-hmm.
There's GM smarter than you now. Just take what you can get. It's gonna hurt.
You know,
Yep.
you want to hear what I think Cashman's legitimate last trade to basically bring us a championship, and this is probably the only championship other than 2009 that I'm willing to give him. David Justice, year 2000.
Mhm.
That was the
Yep.
last legit trade I could think of that he's made, apart from the free agent acquisitions he did in the '08 and '09 offseason. Did we, now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we get a bullpen lefty by the name of Damaso Marte? Was that a free agent signing or was that a trade? I don't
No, that was a
remember.
trade. That was a trade.
Okay, so you have that as a kind of a small hitter on the back in the background. We had Marte, we had Coke, we had um,
Phil
Boone
Coke. Wow.
Logan. We had three lefties out of that pen.
It's amazing how you go back year to year to year. Our bullpen is never the problem.
Hmm.
Never.
Yeah.
It may be, the closer might be a little shady,
Hmm.
a little suspect, not as trustworthy as Mariano, but Mariano spoiled the shit out of all of us. Because no matter who comes in, that's the comparison. So, but we've really gotten very lucky with our bullpen. We don't usually see that those bullpen arms that you see, that every other year type of bullpen guy. The Yankees have not had to deal with that. You know, they might not have. They might go through stretches where they're a little bit of a struggle, but at the end of the year, their numbers are right where they're aligned with year to year.
I
It makes
disagree
me
strong.
hesitant to really focus on the bullpen.
Brad, I strongly disagree with you on this one because they came close, but no cigar in any of the playoff series. They had him in 2007 and 8.
Dude, I feel
They
bad for him and Mike Messina. They
yeah.
missed that one year. If they would have came
Yeah,
back for that one year.
Yeah, but Abreu was either a free agent or he was traded to
Hmm.
LA to the Angels.
He was traded.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it's funny. It's funny you bring him up because I'm now that we got Chris in here, we got the conversation going. The chat's on fire. If you haven't already, hit that like button.
Hmm.
Um, hit the hearts on the bottom corner.
Hmm.
It's let's bring up this screen here. And we actually were talking. One of the things I wanted to talk about was the Hall of Fame ballot that was released today. And if you look right on the top of the screen is Bobby Abreu. So I was like, this is perfect timing. Um, how are we feeling about this ballot?
So if we
Is there
basic,
somebody? Is there anybody that's a first timer that jumps out and is like, yeah, that's got to be he's got to get in.
well, I'll answer the question in a different context. Not who's got to get in, but basically, if we're gonna let Carlos Beltran in, do we let the garbage cans in too? What about the firecrackers and whatever the shit was that they were setting off in 2017? Do we let them into the Hall of Fame as well? Helton is definitely one guy. Even though
I
he
agree.
helped,
Helton
yeah,
should be in.
yeah, because Helton had the bad luck of playing with some really bad Colorado teams. He was on that '07 that '07 championship team that faced Boston and lost to Boston.
And
Yeah,
I was about to say, and I'll say this. Everybody keeps talking about, oh, the air is different in Colorado. He really wasn't a home run hitter. He was actually a contact hitter.
yeah,
So I feel like he should get in.
yeah.
Yeah, Helton's one of those you would want to see him get the acknowledgement, but if he falls just a little short,
Hmm.
you kind of get it.
Hmm.
I think he's another one where he's very borderline. Um,
Mauer has to get in. Maurer
Yep.
was,
yeah, I
he
was gonna
he
say,
epitomized he epitomized Minnesota.
yeah,
You know what's
it's
pissing me off? I'm sorry, and
Hmm.
this is just me because I got to watch him because that's my brother's favorite team.
Hmm.
I feel like Andrew Jones should be in.
Yeah,
I do too.
yeah.
I think he was so underrated.
Mm-hmm.
His defensive metrics, I think, still are
That's
being,
what you got. Yep.
everybody. It's not always about the offense.
No.
Look at players like Ozzie Smith. Did not have the best offensive numbers, but he was a wizard at shortstop. That's why he's, that hence the nickname. But that's why he got the acclimate of the Hall of Fame. I think that also it can't just be one sided.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't have the batting that, yeah, but look at him, guys like Ozzie Smith or Andrew Jones, their defensive wars.
Mm-hmm.
Those numbers are off the charts and are very hard to reach. So yeah, I agree with that. I think Andrew Jones deserves to be in. I think it's going to take a while,
Mm-hmm.
but he'll get in.
Now, in the context of New York sports, would you say David Wright was essentially the New York Mets version of Don Mattingly?
Exactly.
Basically,
Yeah,
a clutch
agree
contact hitter
100%.
who basically was hampered, and his career was basically cut short by injuries.
Yeah, no, that's the sad part with David Wright.
That's why I would
He's.
put him in.
Yeah, so if you put Mattingly
I
in,
don't,
I
but
would
I
say by
don't know. I
default.
don't think as much as I love Mattingly, I would love to see him in. He didn't have the longevity killed him.
Yeah.
The difference between Mattingly and Wright, though,
Mm-hmm.
if you pull back the injuries,
Mm-hmm.
Mattingly was the best player in baseball for 3-4 years straight. There
Mm-hmm.
was no comparison. David Wright doesn't have that same,
Mm-hmm.
love from the baseball world. So I
Yeah.
think that's where
Yeah,
David Wright just falls short.
he wasn't even the best third baseman in New York. It was A-Rod.
So I'm going to give you that's a good segue to what I'm going to do next, Chris. I'm going to give you my top 5, possibly 10 players who I don't see getting in, and I'm going to state the reasons why as well for each name. Going from the first column on, Joey Bats for being an absolute douchebag, straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Second column, let's go with Manny being Manny and Jose Reyes. Jose Reyes for being a domestic abuser. Manny for being Manny being Manny. So that's 3 right there. A-Rod basically spoiled his career with all those steroids. He was definitely a good player. I'm not going to take performance away from him, but that whole steroid drama and basically for his antics of saying, well, why would they give number 13 to Joey Gallo? I feel, ashamed and whatever. Why isn't my number being retired for being such a drama queen? For that reason alone, he's my number 4. Jimmy Rollins for being a fucking big mouth. Excuse the language, but I had to do that. Jimmy Rollins out. Um, Chase Utley for being another douchebag and basically taking out another second baseman, you know, or I should say shortstop in 2015. And when they threw at him, both Noah Syndergaard and Terry Collins got ejected the very next day. If you saw that first pitch, you know what I'm talking about. And so we've got like maybe 5 or 6. So maybe if there's another few more, definitely Beltran. How do I miss Beltran? Beltran, if you put him in, you got to put the garbage cans in with him.
Yeah, I don't see Beltran getting in.
No.
Bautista, I say no, and I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
My wife couldn't stand watching Jose
I'm not gonna
Bautista
lie.
play.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm looking at this list. I think the only one that I know for sure that might get in because the way he was and how he treated people is probably Adrian Beltre.
Yeah, he was a
I
respectful
think
player.
he's talent.
Yeah, and in Texas, everybody would basically rub his bald head and whatever, and he used to like
I
hate that
wanted him
shit.
on the Yankees so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
from game 1 to his very last game, he
Mm-hmm.
played like a kid at heart. Like
Yeah,
he
yeah,
never took it for granted what he did.
yeah.
And I think he's a first ballot, no doubt.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Another one I think might be a first ballot on here. Let's see who's in their first year. They'd be in.
This dude Brad
I
funny.
think it's going to be. I think Joe Mauer.
Yeah, Joe.
Yeah,
I
I
forgot
think
about
it's
Joe.
going
Mauer.
to.
Mauer
The
has
more
to
I'm
get him.
thinking about it, I think this year's inductees are going to be Bauer and Beltray.
You want to know my candidate for how dare you not get him in there?
I probably know who you about to say. Who
Oh, take a I'll tell you if you're right or not.
is he on this list?
Yes.
Okay, never mind. Because I'm not gonna lie. Let me say this first,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
and I'm not saying this because I'm a Yankee bias.
Uh-huh.
Posada needs to get in. I'm
No.
sorry. He's
Hey,
Yes.
preach, brother, preach.
like
I'm with
like
you.
he's
I'm
one of
with you.
he's one of the best offensive catchers. And then over the years, his
Mhm.
defense started picking up. So I'm
Okay.
sorry. That's just me.
Okay. So
No, I agree.
how dare you not get this guy in? You know
Talking
who I'm
about
doing,
Pettit.
right? Exactly.
Gary
That's
Sheffield.
Pettit.
Gary Sheffield.
No,
No, Pettit.
yeah,
Oh,
no, he's doing the look
Picture,
over the glove.
yeah,
What's
yeah.
going on, Eli? No,
Picture a ball, a mitt on my left hand, and basically he's basically just staring in, looking like focus for the sign.
it's the steroids, bro. I hate that too. That's what kills me.
Well, that's why
it,
Roger
it,
Clemens is not on the list.
No,
Yeah.
but
yeah,
see, I'm
it's
different when it comes to steroids. Look, don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
I understand it's cheating, but certain
Hmm.
players should still get in, like Roger Clemens. I think Barry Bonds, because they were already good before the
what he's got
steroids.
in.
How many
Mike Ma-
times?
Mike,
David
Mike
Ortiz got in.
Piazza,
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mike Piazza, he got
How,
alleged for taking steroids, and he's in there
how many times has
Yeah,
Chase Utley been on the ballot? That's my question.
too, huh?
how many years?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And
been
I
two, huh?
think I think you have like.
Um, what
And
else is
what's the
in?
rule? That you have like
No, I think
five
this is his
chances.
first year on the ballot.
Okay.
Okay. You
This
can
is
keep
Chase
him on
Utley's
the
first year.
ballot. That's fine. Just don't ever dare if you vote if he gets like maximum first ballot votes and whatever, the system's rigged.
What is
Oh,
going on,
what's up,
Hector?
Hector?
Salute, salute, salute. Good to
Hector,
see you in the fold.
Hector, you
But
gotta join. You gotta join our chat over on the WhatsApp group, man. I keep telling you.
no, I think when it comes to the Hall of Fame, it's one of my what I really enjoy talking about.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's there's one player that always stood out that really he got screwed so bad, and that
Hmm.
was David Cohn. David
Yes.
Cohn
Yeah.
not reaching the percentage in the first year to stay on the
Mhm.
ballot. That was such an injustice.
Did
That
Brocious
still
make it?
pisses me off.
Did Brocious make it? Scotty Brocious?
No, no, I don't think he made it.
I don't think he
But
made it.
not Brocious is not on the same level as fucking David Cohn, bro.
No, no, I'm not
David
even
Cohn,
talking. I'm not even talking about level, dude. At this point, I mean, he helped anchored some of those 98, 99, and
no,
2000 teams.
oh no, I'm not
Yeah,
discrediting his career.
yeah,
Brocious doesn't say Hall of Famer to me. David Cohn did. And the fact
and
that he got booted off in the first year is such a fucking injustice.
I might have missed this one, but O'Neal got in, right? Paul O'Neal,
No,
No.
he's not
dude.
in.
That's another candidate for how freaking dare you not? That's another one. And that's again on a Yankee bias, but here's another one. I'm going to extend my scope a little bit beyond the Yankee bias when I say this one. And this goes back to that evergreen brawl from 2003, Yankees Red Sox, Jason Varitek. Varitek was he was the heart and soul for those Red Sox teams from 003 and whenever he was there onwards. I mean, he basically was pretty clutch in '04 and in the '07 series and so on.
Veritek was such a good villain.
Yes.
He was one of those. He reminds me of like Pedroia, where you hated looking at him.
Yeah.
But you enjoyed watching the competitive level that they had.
Mike Lowell.
I mean, the names, we can go through those like fucking forever.
Yeah. Mike Lowell, for his time with the Marlins and then to the Red Sox. I definitely won't even put in Big Pappy. Big Pappy, that guy, he was emaciated when he got traded from Minnesota to the Sox, and how dare you basically tell me he's not a steroid user? Give me a break. The guy became plumper than a Dominican watermelon, basically.
Well, that's why I said before. I'm like, when you were talking about guys like Clemens and Bonds, I'm like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ortiz was the one to break the glass ceiling on that, not the other two guys.
Right.
How y'all feel about Garrett Sheffield? Do y'all think he should be in?
Not first ballot, but eventually.
I think he gets in, and I think. How do you guys feel? Really, this is another interesting point of view.
Mm-hmm.
With the first ballot, he's a Hall of Famer, but not a first ballot. What do you mean by that? Either you're a Hall of Famer or you're not. It's just a matter of how crowded the ballot is if you get the votes.
Well, when I say not first ballot, I mean basically, the first time on the ballot. I mean, he's going to sit on the ballot for a little while before he gets in. Is what I'm saying.
I just never understood that narrative. I really didn't, and I'm not trying to be argumentative. It's it's just a question that popped in my head that I've been wanting to ask for a while. It's like, well, no, he's definitely a Hall of Famer, but not a first ballot. What the fuck does that mean? Either you were one of the greats or you weren't.
I think that's what it is. I think first ballot is like elite to elite. Like Derek Jeter, when it comes to shortstop, he's the elite to elite, so he's gonna be a first ballot. But like,
and it wasn't even by his, I mean, his numbers basically were a representative of how he played the game with the utmost respect. I mean, basically, he had clutch hits. He was a prototypical spray with some power hitter. He ended up in the 3,000 hit club. I mean, how do you not put somebody like that in the Hall of Fame? He's got 5 rings. I mean, what kind of criteria do you not expect to have to, eventually get this distinction in your career? 5 rings, 3,000 hit club, career 300 hitter, Gold Glove shortstop. What's there to disagree on?
Yeah.
And he should be MVP. Just saying.
Yeah.
You got robbed that MVP by a guy that's on the ballot this time. Right? It was Joe Mauer he lost to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yep. and Derek Jeter would have been Derek Jeter would have been the second Yankee to get unanimously had it not been for that one guy in the baseball, writers, association who basically gets to vote, who voted against him. I'm guessing that guy had to be a prototypical douche Red Sox fan.
But a lot of guys, and I'm not saying I'm in agreement with the one guy that said no.
Mm-hmm.
But there is that narrative. Jeter has this dark cloud about him with the defensive metric.
Mm-hmm.
Where that really it pisses us off that people want to kind of take away from what he did for the game, because he might not have been the most elite shortstop that ever played, but he was the most clutch player. I think one of the most clutch players the game ever saw. When you needed that defensive out,
Mm-hmm.
the ball found him and he got it. When you
Two
needed the clutch hit, he got it.
2001 ALDS Game 3 in Oakland. What happened? What was that pivotal play that he basically got to Posada to get uh who was that?
Giambi's little brother.
Yeah, Jeremy Giambi. Thank you. Yeah, I was drawing a blank momentarily there. He got Giambi's little brother out at home plate. 2004 or 5, I remember. It was that dive into the stands against the Red Sox. Then you had all those jump shortstop plays that he basically did.
I want to bring this up real quick, right? Because
Uh-huh,
Blue Gold, that was the point I was making. That
uh-huh,
don't listen to the analytics. He was one of the most clutch players that the game ever saw.
uh-huh,
So I'm not. I'm bringing it up because it's one of the things that's brought up in the argument
uh-huh.
on the shitty side of the argument. The losing
Yeah,
side of the argument brings up the analytics. We watched
yeah,
this kid. We watched his whole career.
yeah.
It's it, there was nobody. There was nobody you wanted involved in that final out to clinch a game. You
Hmm.
wanted that ball to either be caught by Jeter or hit by Jeter.
Yeah,
There was nobody in between.
exactly. Now this I got to address. Brad, so are you telling me that was your alternative ego that basically voted? Are you saying you have an alternative ego as a female, basically? Is that like Brandy Jewess that basically voted against him or somebody? Or is that maybe your pet female kangaroo that did it?
And Hector throws in a correction here. It was Justin Morneau, not Joe, not Mauer.
Yeah, yeah,
It was Morneau.
Well,
yeah.
It was
hey,
one of those
they was on the
Eminem
same
guys.
team.
It
But
was
hey,
one of those Joes.
but
But
those
yeah,
those
no, it
two
was Morneau.
those two Jays in Minnesota were pretty good hitters. They were very respectable hitters. Let's not take anything away from either one of them. Morneau and
Yeah,
Mauer were the core of that team offensively. Every year that we faced Minnesota in the ALDS, and until this year, Minnesota didn't own any piece of New York. They just happened to win the season series this year. And, what was it? We played them in 6 or 7 games, and they won like 4 or 5 of them. Well, what do you expect from an 82-80 team, basically?
yeah. So yeah, like we got into that a little bit at the end of the show. I don't want to keep going into it,
Hmm.
but
Li, you can't handle New York. That's why you moved to Ohio, right? So let's stop.
now let's leave Li alone.
Yeah, I love picking. I mean, I'm almost convinced Li and Brad Jewis are the same person with like two different screen names on here.
No, there's no way.
Yeah, I
God
mean,
wouldn't do that to her. To
if you
have that,
gave if you gave Li an Australian accent, case closed.
no, they're not the same person.
But
Let's not even dive into that shit.
I think we all agree with Jonathan though that we need lefty at bats.
Yes,
You
yeah.
think? You think?
All
You
right, well, that wraps up the news for the off season. See you in September in April. But
Jonathan, I'm gonna throw your F bomb out for you. You fucking think?
Hold up. Hector giving us a trivia
oh,
question.
all
Yeah.
right. So here's like this question for everybody, for
Hmm.
us, and for everybody. All right, in 2004, Jeter when he dove into the stands. He was taken out of the game. A-Rod played shortstop for the rest of the game. Who did the Yankees play at third for the
In
rest of
2000.
that game?
Oh, was it who was that guy we got from the Cardinals? He wore jersey number 41. I that much I have in my mind. Um,
In
yeah.
2004.
2004 Yankee roster. God damn it. I know he wore 41, but hang on a second.
So
Two
far,
doesn't
I'm
work.
drawing a blank. But actually, was it Miguel Cairo?
Yes, that's exactly who I'm thinking of. Yeah.
Because that was what Blue Gold put out there. And when I saw the
Yeah.
name, I'm like, well, I think that's it.
Yeah, but it's Cairo, like the city in Egypt, not Chiro. So yeah,
That's all right.
yeah. My
We,
Gaega
we don't we
FJ,
don't we don't take points away for spelling on this channel.
Mike Gaega wasn't on the '04 team. I think he was on a Yankee team earlier.
But Hector is Blue Gold right? Because I'm not. I want to say. My gut tells me that it is.
It was
But
either him or uh, yeah, Cairo was there.
it had to be Cairo.
Hang on a second. I'm looking at the roster right here on screen.
Right.
Well, we had Cairo, we had
No,
Clark.
I know how to spell. I just can't operate a computer. All right, let's get the insults correct, Brad.
Okay, if it's not my second guess, if it wasn't Cairo, it might have been Enrique Wilson or Andy Phillips.
Nah, it had to be Cairo.
Yeah.
Jonathan
Sheffield?
said
Oh,
it's Gary Sheffield.
Sheffield was
Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Doing a little Pete
but wouldn't
Simonetti there.
Sheffield been in the starting lineup? Why would they not be in the starting lineup?
Maybe we lost the DH for the rest of the game because he might have been DH if
I
he
didn't
wasn't in the outfield.
Yeah, he probably was a
see Hector
DH.
throws this all out there and then he goes
Mm,
quiet.
mm.
You see that, huh?
Yeah. Hector's probably out walking about in the city. He's probably on his midnight walk. Hmm.
I know. I got to figure out. I got to make time at work to get on his stream that he doesn't later on now. Screwed up
Yeah.
my whole morning. I was actually going to text him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Brad's even saying Sheffield played some third base in 2004.
What?
We could have solved this whole problem by just looking up the scorecard for for that game.
Hmm.
All right, so it
Hang
was
on.
Sheffield. All right,
Mhm.
I was with Blue Gold. I thought I could have sworn
Jonathan
when
was right.
once I saw Cairo, I'm like, that's got to
Mhm.
be it.
Yeah.
Because Sheffield, I would have thought would have been in the starting lineup. I wouldn't have even thought of them. But that's awesome. That's awesome,
Yeah.
Hector. Man, I miss you, bro.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
want to close things out. We got to talk a little bit more about Yamamoto.
Hmm.
What? No, I know you gave the answer, Jonathan. I'm not saying you. We weren't saying you were wrong. We were trying to really, without cheating, trying to go through the memory log. And
Jonathan,
that's
we
never
give
a win.
you
That's not a win
we
for me.
we formally offer you the position to be the head of the statistician and analytics department for the New York Yankees.
Yes.
Formally, because apparently this Fishman guy, he can basically go sit on his ass and play Tetris all the fuck he wants. There, I threw another F bomb out just for you, Jonathan. That's
There
two.
we go. We only curse for Jonathan. That's it.
Yeah,
When
yeah,
Jonathan's not around, it's like we're
yeah,
at church. But
yeah.
so I want to get your opinion and everybody in the chat, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah,
what do you think if you're the GM of the Yankees?
yeah.
What are
Right.
you offering Yamamoto?
I mean, I've heard people go with 7 or 8 year deals. People have been saying seven for 225. I was earlier inclined to say 8 for 250 plus with an option for a ninth year and possibly an opt out after year 5 or 6. But I'm also part of me wants to say give him a full on 9 year deal. I mean, he's younger than when Tanaka came in 2014. Tanaka was probably older than 25 when he was posted. So for that reason alone, if we give him a 9-year deal, he's going to pitch with us potentially, pending that he doesn't opt out. He's going to be with us until his age 34 year. And maybe I might put that deal to be a little top heavy to get him his money first, considering the trend that the Yankees have been taking on. So he gets the bulk of his AAV up front, and then the contract value with age goes down, creating a lower cap hit for the club as age continues to rise. So basically, it would work out to be like a 9 for 270 ish. That's 30 a year.
I think it's going to cost more than that. I think you're okay. The years I'm okay with.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more. It's
right, and then I use the approximate, basically saying 270 ish.
30 mil. I think it's going to take 30 million, 30 mil a year minimum to get him on this club.
According to Jonathan, Tanaka got 7 for 155. Yamamoto will get 200 million. Yeah, I agree. I'm not disagreeing. It's going to be 200 plus. It's just a matter of years. So the more years, the more money. So 1 second.
I'm not gonna lie. If it's gonna go like that, I might as well give him a 10-year deal. I mean, because he's young.
Well, I just did the math. If it's a 7-year contract at 30 million, that's 7 years, 240.
Yeah.
I think that would be the starting offer from me.
See,
that's
I like that. Blue gold. That's what I was thinking. 10 for 300, and then throwing out, after the 5th year. Because I mean, you might as well. He's still young. He's only 25.
Right.
Yeah, and LI brings up, right? And well, Blue Gold also adds to his where, the Yankees have so many holes, it's not even funny. That's true.
Blue Gold, they have more holes than a golf course, and that's only 18 holes.
But the issue with Yamamoto and why we're all looking at him like such a priority. It's on top of him being one of the best pitchers that's come out of Japan.
Yeah.
It's the Yankees need to show that they still have the George in them. They need to flex hard this offseason. They can't keep pussyfooting around and thinking that plugging in here and there is going to fix everything. A tire can only take so many patches before it explodes. We're watching this team on the verge of exploding and becoming completely irrelevant. They need to grab that bravado back. It starts with Yamamoto, and then you trade for Soto.
Nah.
So Ella, you're going to give him Stanton's deal, basically 13 for 325.
I'm not.
That's basically what Stanton signed when 10, he was with Marlins before. Yeah.
10 is my limit. I'm not doing 13. He's smoking on that one.
13. That's steep for 25 years old.
Yeah.
I don't go.
Ella,
I don't go
you're
over
lucky
10.
we put up with you for 13 years. Ella, you're lucky we put up with you for 13 years, let alone signing players to 13-year deals.
I understand we don't do 10-year deals with pitchers, but when it comes to a pitcher that's only 25, I don't mind doing a 10-year deal.
Yeah.
But to say 13, no. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
No, but that's why I like. But that's why I like the 7-year deal, because it'll still give him an opportunity to go for a second contract.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not locking him up. I don't think he's going to want a deal that's going to lock him up in an area for his whole career. I think he's going to want at some point to be back in the free agent market. you
but
might see.
LI,
So let's say that say the 10 million a year, the 10 years for 300 million rather. Give him an opt out after the 6th year. Let him go
Yeah.
back into free agency at 31.
LI. It's because Garrett Cole is already established. That's different. We don't know what he can do. Like, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. I understand we gotta take that risk, but I'm sorry, Garrett Cole wasn't a risk.
Ella, you also
No,
have to
because
understand.
we already knew what he was in the major league level. We don't know what Yamamoto. I think
And he's
Ella,
healthy.
you also
Knock on wood, he's healthy.
now
exactly.
with the
Thank you.
contracts with the contract ideas that we have and we've thrown out.
Mhm.
How does that compare to? Because here's another factor that's going to come into it. Not just throwing the money out. We also have to worry. We have to be concerned with what Cohen's going to put out.
Blue Gold, he's
It
not
might.
Kei Gawa. Okay, so
So
let me put
say it's. Let's play around with this. If you had, and say we offer in 10 years, 300 million, the Cohen goes to 12 years, 360. Do you go for that 13th year?
No.
if Cohen.
Like
Yeah,
at what
no.
where is at what point do you just say, look, this bidding war is going to cripple us, and
Without
where as a fan, not as a Yank, not as the GM, as a fan of what we said we would do as the GM, where's our breaking point? Where we're like, you know what, the Yankees cannot do this.
Okay, so
What's that contract for you?
let me say this. Let me say this because I wanna talk about the Japanese thing. Are we forgetting about Otani, Yu Darvish, Tanaka? Are we forgot?
Daisuke
Kenta,
Matsusaka.
like
Kodai Senga.
a lot of Japanese pitchers are actually performing like they supposed to, and some of them have longevity. So I actually trust some of these Japanese pitchers that's coming out, just like the hitters. I mean, I'm gonna keep saying it. I was on Yoshida. Look what Yoshida did his first year. It's starting to they starting to pick it up where when they come into the States, they just got to get used to it because they're not used to playing so many games. But once they start picking it up, it's like riding a bike to them. And second,
Ella,
if I was about to say if the years get too steep, you got to pivot. And I'm sorry, I know we joke about Cashman pivoting, but you got to call Milwaukee and be like, what is it going to take to get Corbin Burns? You got to get a pitcher to help Cole.
See, when we see Cashman, when we see Cashman pivot, we picture somebody like Ed O'Neill tearing an ACL, basically. Jokes aside. Now, Li, I'm going to bring you in on a little secret, okay? A lot of the Japanese players come out of NFE's training gym with the mixed martial arts and the whole, karate dojo stuff. So I wouldn't exactly mess with that, okay? You can ask NFE right on the chat over here. He's probably going to be like,
But
yo, these guys are into the Tekai Sakai and all the shit.
But do y'all agree if we don't get Yamamoto, we have to pivot to try to get another starting pitcher? We got to trade for one.
No, I think if you
and
can't
we
get
were
Yamamoto, I think Plan B is Snell.
Yeah.
But that's also going to cost you a shit ton of money. But I like this comment here from LI. And how often do we agree with LI at this level? But you can't get Soto without Yamamoto. I think that's a fact. I think now, say within those 45 days that he's posted, they're able to trade for Soto. Well, just out of the blue, Cashman learns, holy shit, I'm allowed to multitask in the offseason. And while he's working on Yamamoto, he's also talking to Soto. If they get Soto, does that make the Yankees that much more appealing? Yeah,
So wait, are you telling me?
those two players, that free agent and that trade acquisition, they go so hand in hand. I don't see it any other way.
So are you telling me cell phones nowadays have a switchboard on them that Cashman can actually multitask? Breaking news.
I mean, just because I can't doesn't mean he can.
Well, if Brad is in the chat with him, he would have broken Brian Cashman's balls to like freaking pickleballs.
Well, I
So,
wanted to say this
Blue
too.
Gold,
Like,
no, because I don't want to completely discredit, Blue Gold being, having reservations about, Yamamoto and Soto. You decided they're not trading for Soto. Is it you don't see them trading for Soto, or you don't want Soto? I just want you to clarify that. But I want to know.
I
I want to get into where your thinking process is. Where do you see what do you think the Yankees should do this offseason? All right, because I don't want to just completely dismiss what you're saying. But I think
I wanted to say this
that's
too.
got to be. We need to clarify that as well.
I don't know how long
I
it's gonna take Yamamoto to come up with his decision, but you have
It's
to
got,
be on the
it's got
phone with the
45 days.
Padres. Yeah, you have to be on the
Mhm.
phone with the Padres. You can't wait to be like, I'm gonna wait 45 days until this happens.
Mhm.
No, you gotta pick it up.
Mhm.
John,
It's kind of like how the
John, he throws into the discussion. Soto's more important because the issue has been the lack of offense. I agree.
Hmm.
That's why. That's why he's also, he's my 1A
Mhm.
this offseason.
Yep.
I think the big free agent acquisition has to be Yamamoto, and then it has
Mhm.
to be working through the trade market. We have
Yeah.
prospects that are not going to get their opportunity.
Yeah.
Use them.
Yeah.
We have a clogged infield. We
Mhm.
have to start utilizing some of those pieces.
And you know with the
It's just the
and
way
you
it is.
and you know with the advent of Yamamoto and Stanton sharing the same agent, you know what the scene that comes to mind to me is?
Okay, they're in
You ever
control.
see the movie? You ever see the movie Air with Matt Damon and Justin Bateman, and the guy who
Mhm.
basically played the agent for Michael Jordan, trying to sign that deal for Nike? Basically, I could see Joel Wolf being that guy who's going to be picturized just like that agent in the movie Air, and basically being screwed over sideways when he's told to basically, shove it, and Yamamoto ends up being a Yankee. It's almost the same narrative around how in that movie, if you watch that movie, the whole premise was Michael Jordan isn't signing with Nike because there were all these other big shoemakers that were known for basketball and this, that, and whatever. And that guy would almost, play the same narrative like, well, Stanton was basically posterized by Cashman, and you have to be made of Teflon to go to New York. I don't know if Japanese Teflon. He's going to make all sorts of shit up and wind up basically taking it right between the legs when Yamamoto basically signs up with the Yankees. That I have a very high level of faith that this is going to happen.
Yeah, it's. I think and Blue Gold Ed's
Mhm.
is and thanks for not completely going off the rails, Blue, because I know sometimes you and I in the chat we can get a little testy, but it's sitting in this chat it's a little different tonight, but.
Yeah.
And he adds to the conversation. He's like, till the Yankees get a new GM, the Yankees will be chasing their tail like a dog in a circle. Yeah, no, the Yankees have a huge front office problem. We don't trust a fucking thing they say, and we have no faith that they're going to do anything to improve this team. There's no way you can have faith in this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. We could definitely agree to disagree. I still think, because here's the thing. I don't think that Cashman's going to be running the offseason. I think
Hal
Hal is
is.
going to run the offseason.
And that's why I
I
trust.
think you could almost hear it in his voice. He was embarrassed at the, he tried, he tried and failed miserably in his press conference to come off as sincere. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We all picked up on that. But it's the narrative before and after that.
Mm-hmm.
I think we saw a little bit more of where his intentions are. Step one is getting above 500.
Yeah.
I don't think that he has any, I don't believe when he said that that's his only goal is to keep that streak going. He wants that. He got pissed off because he didn't get any of that playoff money this year.
Yeah.
And you know what? We always say you want to make, if you want to make changes, hit him in the pocket. He got hit in the pocket.
Yeah.
We don't have Judge if it's not for Hal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just you could just see. You see that I feel like the tide is turning, and Hal is he wants to bring the ghost of his father in this offseason so badly. He's waiting for the opportunity. Yamamoto and Soto are that opportunity for him to be like, look, open up the dress shirt, the S on the chest for Steinbrenner. He found his identity. He found, he finally found his strength. Saying, look, it's just money. If I get the right players, it's coming back plus some. You know what I mean?
Just don't show him the green kryptonite.
Mm-mm.
If you have that S on that shirt, you don't want to show him the green kryptonite. Nope.
No.
Sorry.
Yeah. Hal's not bright. I'm not saying he's a genius. He's a genius for making money. He's not a genius when it comes to baseball operations.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you could see the way that he talks about Cole and Judge. That was that little tell to me that the tide is changing. He's got to make the splash, though. He's got to deliver.
Jonathan, money buys the kryptonite.
Yep. And I agree with Li on here. It's if the Yankees get Yamamoto and Soto, they can get lower tier pieces. Absolutely, yes, they can.
Let's briefly address what we see happening in a Soto trade. I'm going to say Rizzo's going back full circle to where his career started as part of this trade. Because remember, he was a Padre when he first got called up before he even went to Boston and then eventually to the Cubs before he even came to the Yankees. This was his career path. So if he goes back
was
to
drafted by the Cubs, got traded to the Padres, and
was
then
he drafted
traded
by the
to.
Cubs?
He was drafted by the Red Sox.
Yeah, he got drafted
by the Red Sox. Yeah, Red Sox. And then he went to the Padres. Then he got his call up, right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he got his major league start with the Cubs, but he went through.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say this:
Mhm.
if we trade Rizzo and we trade Gleyber, there is no excuse. If you want to bring Montgomery back, bring his ass back.
And also Bellinger.
I want Bellinger. I know some people might not want him.
Bellinger for
why
first
I
base.
want him. First base.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the possibility is endless. And, I've been saying this for the last week or so, that this is what I love about the beginning of the free agent market, in the off season, because everybody's a player. Everybody's, all 30 teams have the opportunity to talk to everybody. And so it does keep the conversation going. It keeps the conversation strong, but it is getting late.
Yeah.
So if you had to take a guess of day 1 to 45, this is going to be our last topic, right? We're just going to do quick fire, and then we're going to get out of here. Day 1, day 45. Chris, you start, then Sunil. Also drop it into the chat what you think. Day 1, day 45. What date is Yamamoto make a deal?
Let's see. I'm gonna say day 14.
You and I are
Sunil.
very close. I was gonna go about a third of the way to day 15.
I'm gonna say it's gonna take him 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm-
say just safely 1/3 of the way. So if it's a 45-day period, day 15.
I'm going to say 22.
Wow, halfway.
3 weeks.
How long
There's
did
too
it?
many.
How long? How
No.
long did it take Tanaka when he came up? Through
That I
the
don't
posting?
remember. I'm going a little higher because I think that it's because so many teams are going to be involved. There's going to be a lot of numbers, a lot of negotiations, back and forth.
Well,
The
let me
bidding war.
say
I
this,
think
guys.
that's going to add a week to it. 'Cause I
Let me
think
say
you
this.
guys are in the right ballpark.
If it goes as long as you say it goes, I feel like Soto's gonna happen before that.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So I can understand
Because Anthony Garcia saying 25.
I can understand the infamy behind Li and I agreeing on something, but did Brad and I agree on something? Now we really got to stop the presses.
Twilight
That's
Zone.
it. Well, I'm
Yeah,
going to bed.
Yeah. Now the planet Mars
listen.
is on a crash course for Earth.
Even Blue Gold agreed with me saying facts.
Yeah.
This has gone all right. I think everybody's gotten sleep deprived, but that is going to wrap things up for us on Pinstripes After Dark. Hope everybody had a good time. I did. Chris, thanks for coming to hang out with us, and as always, thank you to my co-host Sunil. But to everybody, hope everybody does get a good night's sleep. We will be back with Rob and Donald on Wednesday morning, and then we are trying to cook something up for Friday, maybe a little something special for the holiday.
We're actually going to do Black Friday. You're actually going to do
updates on
Black
that.
Friday?
Huh?
You're actually going to do Black Friday?
Yeah, why not?
Your wife's not going to actually ask you to go out for shopping and stuff?
No, my wife's got work. She doesn't get
Oh.
the day off.
Oh, okay.
She gets off for Thanksgiving for Thursday. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, too much information.
On the Pitchside Chronicles, we always appreciate all the interactions. You guys are our lifeline. So we really appreciate it. As I always say, wear those pinstripes of pride and play.
All right. Take care, guys.